my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Brinker, and today I'm going to review the latest music biopic movie that came out, Elvis. This movie is directed by Baz Luhrmann and stars Austin Butler and Tom Hanks. And this is a music biopic of the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. This is the movie about his life, his career, his ups and his downs, his relationship with Presley, and the most important one, his relationship with Colonel Tom Parker, played by Tom Hanks. Now, to me, when it comes to Baz Luhrmann, to me, he's very mixed bag. I love a couple of his films, like Moulin Rouge, Strictly Ballroom, Australia, but I didn't like Romeo and Juliet, The Great Gatsby. I think, to me, the problem with Baz Luhrmann is that he does more with style over the film's substance. It's not a bad thing. I think his style of filmmaking was really well done, but I felt like he just too focused on his style than the stories of the film. So, I was a bit skeptical for Elvis going in. There are a couple of things I was interested. First of all, I haven't heard of the story of Elvis Presley. Obviously, I know who Elvis Presley is. Everyone knows who Elvis Presley is. He's one of the most famous musicians in the world. Obviously, his songs I grew up with as a kid. My grandmother is a huge Elvis fan, so a lot of times I'm at my grandma's house, she loves listening to Elvis. So, of course, I grew up with Elvis. But I'd never known his story, so I went to this film like, okay, I want to see how his story laid out. Why he become this most big icon that everyone knows. Also, Austin Butler playing Elvis. Austin Butler does a fantastic job in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought he does a great performance, so I was curious to see why he's going to be in this film. He looks like Elvis, and he sounds like Elvis in the trailers, so I was very curious to see how he is as Elvis. So there are a couple of things I was interested, but most of the time I was very skeptical because of Baz Luhrmann himself. I was worried that he's going to go way into style over the film substance, and this is about the king of rock and roll that everyone knows, so I was worried that it's not going to focus much on that, or at least he's not going to focus on that too much, but he's going to focus on his style. So, I literally went into this film very, very skeptical. Now, here are my thoughts. I cannot believe I'm going to say this. I really cannot. I walked out of Elvis so speechless. And the thing is, it's not in a bad way. Because, oh my god, I love this movie. This is easily to say, this is the best film that Baz Luhrmann has ever done. Period. It is so easy to say for me because you can really tell in this film that he is passionate making this film. He is passionate about Elvis. This film is 100% a love letter to Elvis Presley. His style in this movie works in the film. And what I love about his style, he doesn't overdo it. He puts it at the right moments at the right time. And that is different for me. I love that in this film. And I think Baz Luhrmann's direction with Elvis is one of my favorite things about the film. I think no one can direct Elvis this original and unique than he can. If you're not a fan of Baz Luhrmann's style, you're not going to like this film. Me, I like his style. The problem is, he takes over more style than substance. This film, he takes on both. He takes on its style and its substance, because the story of this film, it is there. It is there, and it's really clear to know. Let's talk about the thing that stood out in this film, though. Austin Butler as Elvis Presley. Man, he needs an Oscar for this movie. He needs a Best Actor nomination after this film. Austin Butler completely kills it in this film. Not only that he has the look for Elvis Presley, but his acting as Elvis Presley is unbelievable. Literally, the first scene you see Austin Butler in this film, you don't see him. You see Elvis. That's how great he is in the film. And when you see his journey throughout the film, Austin's acting gets better and better and better. And of course he sings in the film and you barely notice he did. He sounds so much like Elvis when he sings in a great way. He is born to play this role. Austin Butler, seriously, this is the best role that you have done so far. Like seriously, I remember him from iCarly. Remember him from iCarly?
You're so beautiful, I need the world to see. You're my miracle. that you need.
He gone from that to Elvis Presley. Like, just how cool is that? He is so fantastic in this film. I am so happy for him walking out of this film. He just does a great job. And if Elvis was alive watching him, he would have been very proud of him because he's so fantastic in the film, portraying the king of rock and roll. And of course, Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker. He definitely plays one of those characters that you just love to hate. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil what he does to Elvis, but my god, Tom Hanks does a great performance in this film, and there are moments where you just felt so angry for Tom Hanks in this film, and I was not expecting that. And Tom Hanks just does a great job in the film. It proves that he is a great actor. He can play anything. I cannot believe I'm going to say that I love to hate Tom Hanks in this film. He's just that good in this film, and he needs an Oscar as well for Best Supporting Actor. And Colonel's chemistry with Elvis in the film was one of the big spotlights about this film. Austin Butler and Tom Hanks had such an excellent chemistry, and I like them both in this film. They both work really well together. Also, the chick who played Priscilla Presley, Elvis's wife in the film, she was in Better Watch Out. She does also a very terrific job in this film. Her chemistry with Elvis, of course, is one of the hearts of this film, and they did that so very well, because obviously this love story is very important to Elvis's life, and they depict that very, very well in this film. Now, like I said before, I know nothing about Elvis, so the stuff that Elvis goes through in this film with its story, I was not expecting it to go in that direction. There are parts in the film where you're like, holy shit, does Elvis go through that? Oh my gosh. And that's what I love about this film. This film is not light at all. This film has a lot of dark moments where I wasn't expecting Baz Luhrmann to even direct, and I thought he does a terrific job depicting those moments. The story, the screenplay of this film is so well done. This basically tells more of the important elements of Elvis's life, his career. And that's this movie. It tells more of his career story than his life story. And I thought it does work in the film because that's definitely the most important part of Elvis's life, his career. And there are so many elements of this film where you're like, oh my god, I cannot believe Elvis went through that. And I love that about this film. This film, of course, is very emotional at parts. There are parts of this movie where I'm like, oh my god, that really sucks for him. There are parts where I was almost in tears, especially the ending of this film. My god, the ending of this film teared me up. This is definitely a love letter to Elvis Presley. Why is he a complete legend in the first place? And this film depicts that very, very well. I would say Elvis is one of the best acting movies of the year because every single actor in this film did their job fantastically. And the weird thing is, Baz Luhrmann just does a great job with both of those things. The story and the style. Most of his films, I always see him, he always does style. So, it's really interesting to see him do really well with story and style of the film. I thought Baz Luhrmann directed this film so freaking well, and I'm so happy for him. And I can see his passion throughout the film, and that's why I would say this is my favorite film that Baz Luhrmann has done. Do I have some issues with the film? A couple. I would say this film is pretty long. This movie is like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and this movie was actually meant to be 4 hours long. There was like a 4-hour cut of this movie, according to Baz Luhrmann, which I wouldn't mind seeing that on Blu-ray. But I'm glad it didn't come to theaters, but yeah, you can feel the pacing of this film. Of course this film isn't boring, I love this film. But there are times where I did check my watch saying, oh, how long has this film been going? It is pretty long, and some people could get bored by that. I was never bored throughout this movie. This whole movie, especially coming from the guy that knows nothing about Elvis, this film was a real treat for me. But guys, overall, Elvis completely blew me away. This is totally the best film that Baz Luhrmann has ever done. This film depicts Elvis Presley's story very well. Austin Butler, man, this is one of the best acting performances I've seen this entire year. He needs an Oscar for this film. He is a complete legend in this film. Tom Hanks also does a great job. The acting was fantastic. The music as well is a great tribute to Elvis. With the rest of the soundtrack that Baz Luhrmann done, I thought it completely works in the film. The style was fantastic. It completely works in this film. Guys, I do highly recommend you guys to check out Elvis. This is definitely going to be in my top 10 best films of the year because this film blew me away. I am absolutely going to give Elvis an A. Totally, this film is a complete love letter to Elvis Presley, seeing how much of a legend he is, and he is a legend after walking out of this film. This makes me appreciate Elvis Presley a lot more. So guys, that is my review for Elvis. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. And what is your favorite Elvis song of all time? And also, what is your favorite Baz Luhrmann movie? 2 questions. Let me know that in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contacting with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And everyone in this movie review, have a nice day. Thank you very much.